Hey there. We know you're interested in exploring the potential of antioxidants, so we're diving deep into some recent research on how they might impact COPD.
That's right. We're taking a close look at a clinical trial that investigated the impact of vitamin C and NAC supplements on men with COPD.
Okay, so before we jump into the study itself, can you give us a quick refresher on why researchers are so interested in antioxidants for COPD?
Absolutely. You see, COPD involves a process called oxidative stress. It's basically an imbalance in our bodies where we have too many free radicals, which can damage our cells, and not enough antioxidants to counter that damage.
So it's like our bodies are constantly fighting a battle against these free radicals, and antioxidants are the reinforcement.
Exactly. And in the case of COPD, that oxidative stress can really take a toll on the lungs.
Which is where this clinical trial comes in. They wanted to see if giving people with COPD a boost of antioxidants could make a difference.
Precisely. This particular study took place in Malaysia, and they recruited a group of male COPD patients. They divided them into 4 groups. One group received vitamin C, another got NAC, the third group received a combination of both, and the final group acted as a control group receiving no supplements.
And how long did they follow these men?
They had them on the supplements for 6 months, tracking changes in their nutritional and antioxidant status along the way.
Okay, so they were looking at things like weight, how much they were eating, and the levels of specific antioxidants in their blood.
Exactly. They used standard measurements for weight and body mass index, and they did regular blood work to monitor the levels of various antioxidants, including vitamin C, vitamin E, glutathione, and their overall antioxidant capacity.
Glutathione, that one always sounds so complex. What's so special about it?
It's actually pretty fascinating. Glutathione is a powerful antioxidant that our bodies produce naturally. You can think of it as our first line of defense against those damaging free radicals we talked about earlier. Keeping those glutathione levels up seems particularly crucial for lung health.
So did they find that taking these supplements actually increased glutathione levels in these men?
Here's where it gets really interesting. The study actually showed some promising results, particularly for vitamin C. It seemed to lead to the most significant increase in glutathione.
So the key takeaway here is that something as simple as vitamin C might be able to boost your body's natural defenses against COPD.
That's what this study suggests.
Yeah.
Now, it's important to remember that this is just one study, and more research is always needed, but it's certainly an exciting finding.
Absolutely. What about NAC? Did they find any benefits there?
While vitamin C seemed to have the most impact on glutathione, NAC showed some interesting effects on nutritional status, particularly in terms of body mass index and food intake.
So even though it wasn't directly boosting glutathione in the same way as vitamin C, it might have been helping those men eat more and maintain a healthier weight.
Precisely. And that's significant because maintaining a healthy weight and getting proper nutrition is so important for people with COPD.
It's like you're breaking a link in the chain of negative consequences that can come with COPD.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that the findings on NAC in this study actually align with some other research that we'll delve into a bit later.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. But before we move on to that other research, let's talk a bit more about this Malaysian study. It sounds like it had some really promising findings, but are there any important caveats we need to keep in mind?
You're absolutely right. We can't get ahead of ourselves. While these results from Malaysia are promising, this is just one piece of the puzzle. We need more research to confirm these findings, especially larger scale trials.
And when you say larger scale trials, what does that mean?
This study in Malaysia was great, don't get me wrong, but it only involved men, and the sample size was relatively small. To really understand if these findings hold true for a wider population, men and women of different ages, ethnicities, and lifestyles, we need to see those larger studies with more diverse groups.
That makes sense. What else do we need to learn more about?
Dosage is a big one. This study used specific doses of vitamin C and NAC, but we don't know if those are the optimal doses for everyone. It's possible that different people might benefit from slightly different amounts. And of course, long-term effects are always an important consideration. This study lasted for 6 months, which is a good start, but we need to know how these supplements behave over longer periods.
All right, so we've talked a lot about vitamin C and NAC. What about all those other antioxidants we hear about? Are they worth exploring for COPD too?
That's a great question. And the short answer is yes, they might be. This particular study focused on vitamin C and NAC, But there's a whole world of antioxidants out there, and many of them are already being investigated for their potential benefits in managing COPD.
Give me some examples.
Sure. For instance, vitamin E, beta-carotene, and even certain plant compounds like flavonoids have shown some promise in preclinical studies. Remember, preclinical means they haven't been tested in humans in the same way yet. But those early findings are exciting and could lead to more targeted antioxidant therapies in the future.
So it sounds like the future of COPD treatment could be a lot more personalized.
That's a very real possibility. We're starting to understand that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to managing COPD. Factors like genetics, lifestyle, and the specific type and severity of your COPD could all influence how your body responds to different treatments, including antioxidants.
That makes a lot of sense. So with all this research going on, how can someone with COPD stay informed about potential antioxidant therapies without getting overwhelmed?
That's where your doctor comes in. They can help you navigate the latest research, explain the potential benefits and risks of different treatment options, and determine what's best for your individual needs and health history.
Always good advice. So we've covered a lot of ground here. Before we wrap up part 1 of our deep dive, is there anything else you think is important for our listener to know about this Malaysian study?
One thing that stood out to me was the researchers' emphasis on the link between diet and COPD. They pointed out that fruits, vegetables, and whole grains are natural sources of antioxidants. While this study focused on supplements, it's a good reminder that a healthy diet can play a huge role in managing COPD and overall health.
So even though more research is needed on specific supplements, it's never a bad idea to load up on those fruits and veggies.
Exactly. Those dietary changes, along with other lifestyle modifications like quitting smoking and engaging in regular exercise, can make a world of difference.
It's all about taking a holistic approach to managing COPD. Well said.
Absolutely.
This has been fascinating so far, but we're just getting started. Join us in part 2, where we'll delve deeper into the potential implications of these findings and explore other research on antioxidants and COPD. See you there.